Initiating podcast download. Prepare yourself. Put on your spandex. Lace up your boots. Wrap your wrists. Hide your razor blade. Head to gorilla position. Grease up your hair. Apply baby oil. Okay, apply more baby oil. Get into gimmick. Keep your ears open and your mouth shut. Have fun and be safe out there, brother. Welcome to I'm on Wrestling. Now your host, Gregory Iron.
Okay. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Iron on Wrestling with Gregory Iron. I'm your host, Gregory Iron. This is episode 262. Ooh, ooh, baby. I don't know what song this is, but the ooh rhymes with two.
Who are you? Ooh, 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 ooh. It's episode 2.
You know, you would
42?
think, you would
62?
think with the fixing of your voice, right when we start, you would have had a better singing voice, but it's
Pardon the interruption.
Not, okay, all right.
It's Aaron Bauer in the building, and I just want to tell you how exciting it is to be a fan right now.
Of?
That sucked.
What? Yeah, in the background, the Guardians, like most teams historically in the history of Cleveland sports, just basically lost the game. So, as we record here on a Monday night.
Nobody really cares about fake predetermined baseball.
I mean, I guess not. I mean, you seem to be very upset.
Well, you're the one who's, I'm the biggest baseball fan that ever lived.
Have I ever...
I watched Rookie of the Year.
Have I? First of all, Rookie of the Year is great, and that was Daniel Stern's directorial debut, by the way. I want to point that out.
Howard Stern had a great show.
Daniel Stern.
Is that his brother?
It's, the same man from Home Alone. Wonder Years, Bushwhacked, Very Bad Things,
Bushwhacked,
A Christmas Story 2. Yeah, I know. Hearing that got you excited, didn't it? Yeah. Getting you a little perked up there. Yeah, calm down.
Getting heated over here.
We're gonna have a nice little episode for you guys today. We're gonna talk some pro wrestling psychology stuff based on an experience I had this weekend, but also we're going to answer some of your questions about psychology from social media. At least whatever we can get time for here. And we might talk about some current wrestling news on the show, including, as part of the psychology discussion, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre in Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood. But we are going to talk about Bad Blood in depth, along with a variety of other current topics over on patreon.com/irononwrestling for our bonus episode, which also... as part of the bonus episode this week, for the first time, because of the change in scheduling, we'll be able to cover a Raw review in depth because Raw ends at 10 p.m. as we record on Mondays. And
what a bummer.
No, it's great, actually. Good. I prefer 2 hours over 3, and we'll cover some stuff from last week's Raw, SmackDown's ladder match this past weekend, 3-way ladder match, and the AEW TV deal, NXT's debut on the C-Dub, and a variety of other things. Patreon.com/ironwrestling. $3 gets you in the door. $5 gets you video on top of audio. $9 is the preferred tier as you get involved in the Zoom/StreamYard chat that we do once a month, which we actually did this past weekend, and we had a good old time with that. If you go up and up in the tiers, you can get packages in the mail from Aaron and myself as part of the Howard Animal Steel package that starts at $25, and it's the best way to support the podcast. Patreon.com/irononwrestling, but also at some point in the show today on the regular version, we're going to talk about gay versions of professional wrestlers. Why, you might ask? Aaron, do you know why I would want to talk about that?
Well, it's about time. I have opened the closet door, and you are emerging from it.
I'm going to show you a picture, and I want you to guess the name of this character. Describe what you're looking at here.
Oh, yeah. Rainbow Kane.
Rainbow Kane. So, yeah, it's a kind of like a tie-dye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Gayne.
Have you seen him?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So you already
Big
know.
fan.
Gayne. Going around
Big
social
fan.
media this week. Gayne spelled Gayne. And, of course, he would be the gay version of Kane from Gay Hell. It's going around. And before we talk about how funny this character is, and how there could be other gay versions of wrestlers, potentially, I want to share a story with you about me explaining Gayne to my girlfriend this weekend. Okay?
Oh, boy.
So
I know where this is headed.
I don't think you do.
And you had to sleep on the couch.
No. So obviously, Hannah, big supporter of the LGBTQ community, and I figured she would appreciate this. So I show her Gayne, the gay version of Kane. Okay, and she laughs hysterically, very into it. I explained to her, he was in the Rainbow Rumble, from Gay Hell, Gayne. Ha ha ha! She thinks it's really funny. Later in the day, okay, she is laughing to herself, and I said, "What are you laughing at?" And she goes, I'm just thinking, Dane is such a gay name too for a wrestler. And I said, "What?" And she said, "Dane. That's what you said his name is, right?" I said, "You thought I said Dane?"
Oh, with a D?
Yes, like Dane Cook, Dane.
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, what did you say?" I said Gayne.
Yeah.
Because that's the joke. Gay Kane, Gayne. Why would Dane be funny?
Oh.
And so I began to rub my temples and had this overwhelming headache over the situation. But Gay Kane, I feel like this could open the door, potentially a closet door, to more independent wrestling gay characters. And quite frankly, I saw Blue Kane going around for a while.
Yeah.
I didn't see the appeal. I didn't get it. I think because there was a rumor for a long time that Kane once wore blue, which I don't even know where that came from, because there was always a rumor that I knew that he supposedly wore green once because of his ties with D-Generation X, most notably X-Pac. But again, that never happened. It's just one of those weird things that just made up on social media. But gay professional wrestling characters based off of real, ungay, is ungay a term? Straight, I guess, professional wrestling characters. Where could we go with this? Who could you see becoming a gay version of a more well-known professional wrestling character?
Let me see. Gay Mysterio.
Okay, that was a pretty easy one, actually.
Booyaka.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be Bukkake?
I don't
Instead?
know. That's your neck of the woods.
You don't
not
know.
mine.
You don't know anything about Bukkake.
What is it?
Well, I'm not going to explain it. I think that's for the audience to Google. Definitely on your work computer with multiple people around. If you don't know what it is, and obviously his finishing move would be the 69.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, that's a good one. What about Bone Cold Steve Austin, who's going to pound a mud hole in your ass?
Yeah, that sounds good.
And suck it dry. That's disgusting. Whoa, man. I feel like you probably if the mud hole should be cleaned up. What?
DX was gay.
Oh yeah. So
Hey,
maybe
bro.
we have to change Triple H and Shawn
Yeah,
Michaels.
so
Rod
no.
Destiny.
Yeah, it'd be HB gay.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. What about Triple H? What's his?
The hard bone kid. HB gay.
Okay.
And then Triple H would be Triple Gage.
That's where you go. Wouldn't somehow incorporating maybe homo in the Triple H?
Because that would get me canceled.
Would it? I don't think it would.
Homosexual Hurst Helmsley.
Yeah, I think that's not it's a mouthful. That's
Hunting
for
for Homos Helmsley?
what? All right.
Hunting Homo Helmsley?
Okay.
Is that, I mean, are we allowed to say that?
I mean, we could.
Uh-huh.
Somehow I want to do a tie-in
Hard
with
Homo Helmsley.
the already existing vagina shirt, but that doesn't seem like gay unless she's just like into other girls. I can't.
How about the big gay show?
The big gay show. It doesn't have quite the ring to it.
Oh, wait, that's a big gay brunch.
Yes, that is Effie's
Okay.
thing, the big gay brunch, which should have been renamed the Big Greg Brunch, but unfortunately, back during the pandemic when I wrestled Effie for control of the Big Gay Brunch to rename it the Big Greg Brunch, I lost, and thus I had to become Effie's bitch, which was unfortunate.
Hey, I remember a tag team from back in the day, WCW.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Hardliners.
Yes.
Dirty Dick Slater and Dirty Dick Murdoch.
I feel like you don't got to really change.
All right, that's perfect.
This is already good to go there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Boy, I should have thought this out a little better. Thinking
Well,
about
when I asked earlier, when you proposed this idea, you said, well, just do it I'll explain it on the podcast.
well,
so I didn't have a chance to
I didn't know
really
you knew what
research.
gay Kane was. It
Oh.
was going around on Twitter. I'm barely on Twitter. I don't know
Yeah.
how often you're on Twitter.
I'm on it a lot these days.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying
Why
to
is
get
that?
away from that True Social.
Oh, it's all the Donald Trump stuff going around. Like he's been listen, I don't know. I don't want to talk about political beliefs or anything, but if we're going just based on like ridiculousness right now, like the Donald Trump character, which I don't know if it's a character or the real person at this point anymore. I would have to imagine.
That's
it's gotta
the
be,
beauty of it, I think.
Yeah, he's been saying, you've been showing me a lot of weird stuff that he's been saying, like talking about like how great his body is.
That was just like a 4-minute video where I was like, okay, Greg will appreciate this.
Yeah, well, so like, here's the thing, like, Donald Trump would be a wrestling character that I would ironically like.
Yes.
But he would also be a bad guy because like no babyface would say the ridiculous stuff that he's saying, and like it's crazy because like he'll say like I'm more handsome than Kamala Harris, and then like all the men in the crowd will be like, yeah, like what?
So Donald Trump.
I mean
He's in the Hall of
he's
Fame.
in the
So
Hall of Fame.
what would his gay version
Donald
be?
Hump.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Donald Pump maybe.
Yeah, I like both of them.
But like, what? Why is he cutting promos where like what is the benefit of like, you know, some people are like, yeah, at least Hulk Hogan, who's, you know, insane, is like saying if he was president, he just says like flat tax, brother. Like that's at least something that could be done and like either, you know, benefit the nation or not benefit the nation. Like it's a political thing that could be done. Proclaiming how attractive you are really isn't doing
That's part of the
anything for
policies.
anybody.
Yeah,
Really?
people want to know about the policies. And
Yeah.
they want a more handsome president.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, I remember my parents and their friends talking about the political, like when Ross Perot was trying to get in the office, they were going like, you know, I just wish he was more handsome. If
His ears weren't quite so big.
you know, or if he could at least you know, have a little bit more confidence or proclaim that he's like really sexy or something, because then that's something I can get behind. But like this guy, he doesn't talk about his looks at all. You know, he's not really, doesn't seem too concerned about them. Like all he wants to talk about is his policies and like what he's gonna do for the country and what he's not gonna do for the country. Like, what is going on here?
Hey man, I've been telling you for a long time now that it's all wrestling. All politics is wrestling, and this has been the best season of it ever.
You were gonna make a comparison between Trump and yourself based on something you once did in wrestling.
Oh, I once ran for president of I think it was the Millennium Wrestling Federation.
Okay.
In Toledo.
Okay. Now, were you really running for president, or was this a professional wrestling storyline?
It was a storyline.
Okay, just to be clear, it's not
Okay.
like something you went into business for yourself and you're like, I'm going to be the president of this company.
And I think they were actually going to count the votes. We counted the votes to see who legitimately would have won.
Okay.
So my platform was all children would now have to go to school 7 days a week.
Okay.
If I were voted in as president of the MWF.
That's a real bad guy move.
Yeah. And that was my platform, and all ticket prices would be raised to $75 per ticket.
Oh boy, that's like the normal price of it.
Right. Well, figure this was over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There was a lot of things like all my wrestlers. Like I think Brandon X was in my faction.
Mm-hmm.
He would automatically be awarded the championship title, and I would automatically be in the Hall of Fame. Things like that. So, but I think the best part was the kids going to school for 7 days a week and not being allowed into the wrestling matches.
That's
And, but it's almost like that's kind of what this presidential campaign is for both parties, maybe.
Yeah.
It's
What if one of the kids had $75 to get in?
Well, I would have to cross that bridge when I came to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's what I would say. I'll take some of those ones with the sprinkles or whatever over there.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
some of that cinnamon stuff or whatever sounds good.
Whatever makes sense.
Yeah, whatever makes sense. Hey, how about horny swoggle?
I mean, yeah, that's. I feel like that's not too far off from the actual man. Horny swoggle. Well, how about this one? Ready?
Yeah.
B.J. Whitmer.
Yeah.
What?
That is one.
Really? You're not going to pop for that?
I like it, but also, isn't he canceled? I don't know if we could talk about it.
Yeah, was that before or after you
Yeah,
booked
it was
him as
the
a guest?
day after.
Oh, no, yeah. It was
or maybe during our podcast.
It was while you had just secured him on a bonus episode of the Patreon. For those that aren't on Patreon,
Aaron, pop every time for that.
Aaron was describing to me, without this knowledge, how he had just talked to B.J. Whitmer and how he was like so willing to do the podcast, and literally as he's like telling me in depth about how like anytime we're ready, he'll be on the show. I was like, wow, yeah, that sounds great. Breaking news: B.J. Whitmer just arrested for domestic violence, and you're like, wait, what? So that was a unfortunate thing that happened. Bad timing.
I mean, we had just spoke. It was within hours.
Yeah, and that's when I had to be like, when exactly did you talk to him? Because it says that this time he...
as soon as he got off the phone with me, he
got
into this other situation.
Oh.
So there's that.
Boy, that's very, very unfortunate.
What about Mickey Games? Because in storyline, remember, I think she was that Trish?
Yep.
And then did they kiss or they almost kissed?
They did kiss. They kissed under the mistletoe. And she. Oh, are you okay there?
Nothing.
She did the V thing,
Mm-hmm.
Vader time.
Yeah.
But then licked it during the WrestleMania match, and they edited that out of the show. Which, believe it or not, Vince McMahon made the call after saying that she went too far. Can you believe that? A man who allegedly pooped on a woman's head thought that throwing
this
up
was before he had dementia.
Well,
allegedly,
he might have.
He might have CTE.
Maybe. Oh,
but that's not a real thing.
Okay, come on. Actually, we got a little bit of feedback from the McMahon episode, so I wanted to touch back on a lot of positive things about our review of the Mr. McMahon 6-part docuseries. However, some people thought that because we were trying to keep the time of the show a little bit on the shorter side, because it was the first time in a while we had gone 2 hours, that we sort of rushed through the finish. So there was a couple notes that I wanted to follow up on, one of which was the CTE discussion and the lighter road schedule that they talked about and no chair shots. A couple people that listened to the show thought that not that we were a little hard on Vince, but we didn't talk about the other side of like one of the rare positive things that they brought up, which was the no chair shot gimmick and how the road schedule kind of slowed down a little bit. I mean, that is a real thing. That
I mean, my whole thing was it should have never been that intense in the first place.
For sure.
So you did have to kind of slow it down.
Sure.
And then what was the other thing that people were pissed at us for?
Well, I'm not saying
the chair shot thing?
Yeah.
You have to do that. I mean, people were coming after you as a company.
Sure.
So you just like the pile driver. Back in the 80s, there was a big uproar from the state athletic commissions about certain wrestling moves. And so wrestling came out, various wrestling promoters came out and said, we've come together and determined that we're going to ban the pile driver.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and listen, CT is one of those things where, I think the misconception is like, well, you have to get a concussion. But the bottom line is it's any like jarring motion with your brain.
Your brain hits the skull. Is that right?
Yeah. So that's what it comes down to. And
dude, I've been hit in the head with a baseball bat before, aluminum baseball bat.
Yeah.
I know I have some shit wrong with me. That's part of my problem, probably.
And you know what? I've been very candid about it on the show. Like, I worry about myself and my brain based on like, I am a klutz of a person, right?
Yeah.
But there's some things that I do that I'm just like, is this me being my naturally dumb blonde self, or is this me who's been dropped on my head and bumped thousands of times? Like,
I think it's a combination.
Sometimes
you'll just be talking, I'll go, what is this dude doing right now?
Okay, come on, really?
Yeah, there are times.
No, don't say that.
Okay,
really?
I won't say it then, but yeah.
Oh, can you have an example?
No, but
You're
I'm
scaring
sure sometime through this episode I'll come up with several examples.
I hate you so much. One time in particular that sticks out to me, and there's a lot of trauma going on in my life in general because I just gone through a bad breakup, but like I had been doing a lot of ditzy stuff around the house when I was roommates with Ricky Shane Page, and at one point he comes home from work and he's like, hey man, you left your car door open. And I thought he meant like you left your car door unlocked. And I was like, why are you fucking touching my car door? And like whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll lock it. He's like, no, like it's like physically open. And I looked outside, like my car door had just like, I just never closed my car door. I got out of my car and just left it open.
Yeah.
And I just like, I went out and I closed it and I just went in my room and I started crying because I was like, what the fuck? Why would I do
that's part
that?
of CTE.
I know.
Yeah, getting that emotional about something that may seem like a small thing.
Yes.
And part of that's getting old too, so you're getting like this trifecta.
Yeah.
Not being,
I get it.
To joke with you about it,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's all like part of the whole thing. So well, good luck, man. I'll try to help you as best I can, but I'm fucked up.
Well, listen, we're all fucked up in some way. That's why we gravitate towards wrestling. But
yeah, you ain't never lied.
That's true. Again, I've said it before. I'll say it again. As a kid, being able to endure incredible physical and emotional trauma with my parents and things happening around me at school, I was drawn to wrestling. So then, as an adult man, I decided I'd like to enter professional wrestling, and then I realized, in order to be successful at it, I have to endure incredible physical and emotional trauma. So really, there's no escape. It's just a circle,
Yep.
And I don't know. We're kind of going all over the place here, but
I got more gay wrestlers that I'm ready for.
Well, we'll get back to that in a second. But right now, it seems like your name just has to like rhyme with gay.
Yeah.
To sort of just be a gay, like if
Rick a gay.
Okay, that's not even. All right,
that's not good.
Candice LeGay.
That's not right.
Why is that not right?
Because that's a friend of the show.
It is a friend of the show.
Johnny Gargano.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
What about the cock?
Do
you smell what the cock is putting in your face?
No. What?
Not the cock?
No, I mean...
That's not gay?
Yeah.
For you?
I mean, I guess it depends on...
Roman Gaines?
Yeah.
Edge of my penis?
Really? You had to add the of my penis.
Yeah.
That doesn't even sound like a real name.
I think it does.
Would it be like Mr. of my penis? Edge of my penis?
Yeah,
okay.
I guess.
All right, so that's his full... That would be like an NXT name that you got like back in like 2011. And it's like of my penis. Just pick like a first name and a last name. It just happens to turn out edge of my penis.
How about finish on your chest, Balor? Okay, finish in your ass, Balor.
It took me a second because of the fin part.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, I feel like you got to emphasize the fin. Finish on
your mouth, Balor.
Okay, all right. Wow. We're either going to... We're not going to gain listeners from this episode. We're either going to...
We're not going to what?
We're not going to gain listeners from
so
the show.
good. Yeah.
We might lose some, though. Or just stay right where we're at currently, because this is not any breaking ground material here, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. How about Dolph Wiggler? He wiggles his penis into his opponent's butts.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Yeah. What about the world's largest love machine, Viscera? And then he could do a thing where, I know the name doesn't sound erotic, but like what if he did a move where like he just got on top of his opponent and just kind of like wiggled around on top of him?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be weird.
Oh, wait. I think he did that.
He did do that as a real thing that he did.
How about Shinsuke Nakamura?
Yeah, that works because you can make it sound like gay.
How about Raw announcer Gade Barrett?
Okay. Jeez.
How about women's #1 contender Gayley?
You're doing too good at this. I'm kind of scared.
How about the Irish Celtic warrior Gamus?
Wait, what? The Irish Celtic warrior. You had to add.
Yeah, I
Irish
thought he was the Irish warrior, and I
Yeah.
was like, no, he's Celtic.
Gamus. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Gamus.
What if Pete Dunne went back to being Butch? Would that work?
Well, his name's Pete.
Yeah, but
Butch.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah.
Fuck me. All right.
No,
Oh,
you're
what?
taking us too serious.
Oh, sorry. We were being serious for a second. Then we went back to gay wrestler names.
Yeah,
I was talking
yeah.
about CTE and McMahon.
How about Ronda Arouse Me?
I mean, that could be a straight thing, though.
Yeah, sure could.
Okay. Hey, hold on. All right.
How about the Wad Father? Like he's a gay wad and a father.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah.
How about Brodus Gay?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, it does.
That does
And
work.
he's a political commentator now on Fox News.
Is he still on there?
Oh, yeah, every day.
Oh, boy.
Every gay day.
Every gay day.
Zack Ryder.
Yeah, that's already made.
How about
for-
Dick Ryder?
No, you don't even have to change it.
Oh, yeah.
It just sounds like a gay
How
wrestler.
about instead of the Miz, he's the Wiz,
Really?
and he whizzes on his opponents
you
that are
weren't gonna-
boys.
You didn't go with the jizz.
The Jizz! Oh, God, I don't think about Jizz as much as you do.
Like what?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? I mean,
How about Mankind? Oh.
that doesn't.
How about
I don't think that works.
Man?
Man
I sure
grind.
do like dudes.
Man
Kind.
grind.
Oh, Man Grind.
Yes.
Yeah, now you're getting it.
Yeah.
What do you do for your boy Stone Cold? You did Bone Cold, but
Yeah.
I'm not completely sold on that.
I changed his catchphrase
Oh yeah.
to pound a mud hole in your ass and
And
suck it dry. That's a good gay catchphrase.
How about he's like a self-made millionaire Texas guy, Gabriel.
Okay. All right. I like how he's got like only 2 acronyms, but the first one goes from a J to just gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Gayne McMahon?
That
Here comes the money. Here comes the gay money. $3 bills everywhere.
why that's too funny. That should not be that funny. So real quick though.
Randy Orton, his finishing move, the RGO.
All right. Also one of the things that we didn't talk about from the McMahon docuseries, early deaths of wrestlers. Is this a good transition or?
Oh man, you just ruined it. I was gonna go to Dude Love. We don't change it.
Okay. All right.
Ricky Gay Payne. Ricky Gay Page.
Yeah.
I like Gay Payne though, because it sounds like he's in pain from getting pounded.
Well, but he might be into it. That's fine. If that's what you like what you like, right?
Yeah, you sure do.
Do you have any more gay versions of pro wrestlers before I talk about the ultra serious Mr. McMahon docu-series that
The British Bulldog.
Okay. Mad Dong Vashon.
Yeah.
Okay. Really, anybody with dog can just become Dong.
Yeah. Ken Shamcock.
Okay.
Ken
Yeah.
Ramcock.
All right. Can Undertaker just keep talking about the sound of the dong going off when he?
No. Here's Undertaker's gay version. Damian Priest.
No, he's bisexual.
Yeah.
He's the bisexual Undertaker. Come on,
thing.
it's not the same thing. No.
Tell me the difference. Explain to me.
The difference is
In
that
detail.
he goes both ways.
Uh-huh.
Which also, I was just recently watching an interview from Kevin Smith talking about Chasing Amy and like people that kind of go like kind of go both ways on the movie, where it's like some people still really love it, and others think it's aged poorly, and some question why they don't refer to her name's not Amy, it's
Alyssa.
Alyssa
Jones.
Why they don't refer to her as bisexual in the film, and he talks about how like the term bisexual wasn't really a popular thing, so we just kind of go with gay, and it was from the perspective of Ben Affleck.
Where did you watch this at?
YouTube. I went down like a Kevin Smith rabbit hole this weekend.
Because Chasing Amy, long been my favorite movie of all time.
Oh, I know.
Right up there with The Princess Bride.
Yeah. Two very different movies to have as
I know.
but that's okay.
I know. And Pulp Fiction's up there.
Yeah.
How about the gay Khali?
Okay. Well. Okay. Any more?
Ex-cock?
Ex-cock.
Yeah, like he used to have a cock and then...
I opened up a whole can of worms here.
Oh, the one-man band. Heath Gator.
Okay.
Steve Gator Kern.
All right.
Alberto Del Gaywad.
That does not work at all. And I don't. And also, so I feel like you probably couldn't call your gay character a gay wad, because that seems offensive. You know?
Yeah.
I just feel like you wouldn't, like, if I were like to embrace being gay as a character, I don't think I could go like, you know what? I need gay wad in my name.
Roderick Dong.
Yeah.
Rod Dong.
Yeah.
He's Roddy.
Can Rod Destiny add something to his name to make it a little
Nope, gay as hell.
already?
Just Rod Destiny's gay.
Yeah.
Hey, bro.
You think he would appreciate us making him a gay character?
He would hate it. Because he was not a gay character. He was an enforcer.
Would he be the enforce him?
Yeah. Oh, that was always my joke for that guy. Oh, I can't say it's a joke, but who was the dude that got busted? It was he said he was Pro Wrestling Gorilla, but he was really Ring of Honor.
Who?
Rob.
Feinstein?
Was that him?
What about him?
I used to say he was in Ring of On Him.
Okay.
Oh, my other one was Joe Dombrowski used to get pissed at me because on PWO I would say, yeah, he's back there in the gorilla position. Too bad he wasn't back there in the Dombrowski position. That's in the rear.
Okay. Well, we love Joe.
Oh, yeah. And we didn't know anything back then. Right.
Oh, come on now. Hey, Joe's a good
You and
man.
Hobo Joe used to always used to always.
Hobo used to want to call his fans hobosexuals. And I said, I don't know if that's.
I like that.
I don't know if we can do that. But you know what? Guys like Effie endorsing Gay Kane on social media has made it possible for us to do an episode today where we could just come up with our other gay versions of pro wrestling characters. So, with that being said, I'm sure Aaron's looks like he's got a whole list here, but do you have other gay versions of pro wrestlers that you think can exist in the world of professional wrestling? Well, make sure you send them over to us on social media at Iron on Wrestling if the show still exists and not too many people are offended by this segment. And let us know your favorite proposed gay wrestlers in professional wrestling. But to go back to the Mr. McMahon thing before we take a commercial break here and then come back and talk about some psychology.
Yeah, Vince love a man.
One of the things that we glossed over is the...
What's your favorite website? Suckadude.com.
Okay, well, that's a Josh Prohibition original. Back in 2006 when I was training, you had to do a vignette for when he was working up in Canada, and he was like picking on all the students, and he said, "Get out of my face, you little punk. What's your favorite website? Suckadude.com." And I've always used that as an insult following that, because I was just so random, and I was like, where did you get that from? He's like, "I just came up with it." And I'm like, all right, well, it's pretty good. But early deaths of wrestlers. Again, no easy transition here when you're talking about gay versions of wrestlers. Like, for example, they were showing people on the screen the McMahon documentary, and one of the ones that was pretty jarring is Test, who passed away at 33 years old. I remember when Johnny was turning 33, he reminded me, like, hey, like, you know, it's weird, like, Test died at 33, and that's, I mean, it's still weird. It's like too young, obviously. The guy was doing a lot of things that he probably shouldn't be doing, but a lot of wrestlers were back during that time period. And one of the things that was cited on this, and again, this is all in the final episode, which I think is not beneficial to the documentary. They crammed this all in the last 30 minutes of the 6th episode. Phil Mushnick compares fans to thinking that a character died when a real life person, a professional wrestler, passes away, and that they don't. That's how they treat it. They don't treat it as if like this is a real person. And I don't know about you, Aaron, but I tend to disagree with that statement. Like I don't think I've ever, me personally, and I don't know that the fans think this way. Like one of the guys they showed was Mr. Perfect. I don't think I was like, fuck, they killed off Mr. Perfect. That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Like, he was a great character. I really enjoyed his vignettes. It's like there is a real person. There is a real person with a real family with real people that love them. And I think we've established, especially in the last couple of years, that wrestling fans are smarter than they're given credit for. And I do think that we tend to hold on to these deaths like the loss of a legitimate family member of ours.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember when Mr. Perfectly Gay died. I was
okay,
like...
really? I mean...
Oh, sorry. I thought we were still on that. But Mr. Perfect died. It was like part of your childhood dies.
Yeah.
Because for me, watching those vignettes, I don't think he had debuted when you started watching, right? I mean, I think he had already debuted when you started watching.
He was around. I mean, again,
he
this
had
is
been
like
around. Okay, so I came into it right away like, what? There's a dude that's perfect?
Mm.
And there was no one more perfect to play that role than him, because when he was in the ring, everything he did looked flawless. Also, the vignettes, they've been talked about forever. They're great. They go down in history as some of the best of all time. But
well, before you continue,
spitting the gum.
I think people forget too. Like, they did 2 separate eras of vignettes for Mr. Perfect. So they did the original when he was debuting in late '88, but also when he turned babyface and came back in '92. They did more vignettes. Like, I think that's where we get like the him tossing the football to himself. Like, that happens much later than the original vignettes. He tosses the football to himself. He does the basketball thing. These are all the later vignettes that they do in like 92, 93.
Yeah?
Yes.
So what were the original ones?
The
baseball?
The pool hall.
Oh.
I think he did a baseball one.
Darts?
The original darts.
Okay.
Bowling.
Because they all blend together to me right now.
Also, no, actually, too, because he did some in '90 when he was with the Genius, because that's when he does the dive.
Yes.
That's sticking out to me because Genius is in that vignette.
Yeah.
So maybe there's like 3 separate eras.
Always
of
weird,
vignettes.
too, that Perfect had somebody with him. Bobby Heenan, the Genius, the Coach.
I think the Coach is probably the weirdest one because he contributed nothing, but I always felt like everybody else sort of complimented Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, just a lot like Rick Rude, where those guys didn't need a manager, but everybody had one. And also, it was always great for that second to be out there to lend a hand.
For sure, yeah.
Oh, man.
But I just think, Phil Muchnick does seem kind of bitter, but also, obviously, he was the only one paying attention to pro wrestling and try to make people take it a little bit serious in terms of the things that are happening behind the scenes with the steroids and the Ring Boy scandal and, of course, the wrestlers dying young. But yeah, speaking for myself personally, a lot of these deaths, I hold them as close as I would like losing a family member. To this day, like based on the way like some of these tribute shows have been done and the video packages, like if I hear "Here Without You" by Three Doors Down, I immediately think of Eddie Guerrero. And I see that video package that they did for him. Because they did two. They did.
I thought "Here Without You" was tribute to the troops.
They might have used it again for tribute to the troops,
okay.
but they did the "Hurt" by Johnny Cash for the Monday night when he passed away, and then when they did the tribute on the Friday SmackDown, they did a different video package and they used Three Doors Down. But like every time I hear that song, I think of Eddie Guerrero and I see like the rain falling on him and you know what I mean? Like it's just it's powerful stuff.
And when
sad.
WWE did one of those video packages for a past wrestler, top notch.
Yeah,
always get you
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, and those are really the only two notes from that last episode that I feel like we didn't. There's probably a couple things we could have hammered home a little bit.
There were things that I thought about as soon as I went and laid down that night.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of them was when you had your shirt off. CTE.
Okay. Well, yeah. Listen, the CTE is a real thing. So.
Well, scientifically, yes, but your buddy Stone Cold Steve Austin says he's not a CTE guy.
We're not going to talk about that. So
I'd like to have him on the show to debate.
Again, those interviews were done 4 and 5 years ago.
I know.
So
that's why I just want to talk to him about it. And, also I want to tell him how you came up with an alternate character for him.
I'm sure he would really appreciate that.
You're going to suck a mud hole out of his ass or something. What'd you see we're going to
get the catchphrase right. I'm not saying it again. Go rewind the podcast.
Tweet it right now.
Do not tweet it. So, hey, we're going to take a commercial break. And when we come back, we are going to discuss my weekend out of town, spending some time in Canada for a movie premiere, and
now,
my experience at Empire State Wrestling, which is leading to our psychology discussion today.
You went to Canada.
I did.
Now, did you go by boat or by ferry?
We'll be right back after this commercial break. I don't know his preferred sexuality. I do know he's a married man, but sometimes I feel like Juan teases me with his incredible artwork, and I don't know if he intends to get me going that way, but what he does with Of the Dead designs really gives this dog a bone. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Juan of the Ortiz has been someone that I've been following for years now.
Yeah.
I follow him on the gram. I follow him on X and Twitter. Mm-hmm. I follow him on Facebook. I follow him to the gym.
What?
I follow him to the restaurants he goes to.
Okay, well, that's not necessary. But
follow him when he's at the hardware store.
No, leave him alone because he can't be looking over his shoulder. He should be focusing on his computer where he's bringing incredible artwork to life for a variety of notable people within the wrestling industry, many of which you've seen on television on a regular basis for years. He's been working with guys that have done wrestling for decades and decades, and Juan himself has done artwork for nearly 2 decades, and he's done it all for people in WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling. His stuff has been on action figures. It's been on the Titantrons of people walking to the ring. It's been in Hot Topic, and you yourself can get artwork from Juan Ortiz if you so desire. You can get it for yourself, a friend, family member, any loved one in your life. Perhaps maybe you need a logo for your big and or small business. Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Designs can make that happen for you, and his prices are incredibly affordable, and even more affordable when you tell him that you heard about his incredible artwork from us right here at Iron on Wrestling. And if you reach out to him, you could do so on any of those platforms in which Aaron just listed not too long ago.
He's on Weebly.
He is on the Weebly.
I follow him there too.
Really? You follow him on his website?
Yeah, I follow him on Weebly.
Where there's no option to follow someone. I guess you just go to the...
I type it in.
Okay. That's...
A lot of times I like to use all caps when I'm doing that. So.
Interesting. Well, you could...
because I've been thinking a lot lately about a design I may get from Juan of the Ortiz.
Thought I was going to be able to wrap this commercial up quickly, folks.
Oh,
but
no.
Yeah,
We're going to go long on this one.
All right.
Because I was thinking of this design, and I thought about, well, maybe someone from AEW that hasn't had his artwork on a shirt by Juan yet could. Okay. And I think that's the Hangman, Adam Page.
Okay.
He's very hung.
Yeah.
And he's a man.
How do you know that he's very hung?
I've been in the locker room, and I'm one of those guys where we're in a locker room.
Yeah. And
those guys are showering. I'm all eyes.
Which show did you do with Hangman Adam Page?
A lot where he didn't know I was there.
Okay.
I'm kind of like the referee.
Yeah.
I'm there, but I don't want to be seen.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was lurking. And I saw Hangman Adam Gage, and he was showering, and I want him to be doing that on a design from Juan.
On a cloud?
On a cloud in heaven.
You want him showering on a cloud?
Yeah, no. I'm on the other cloud, and I'm showering him.
Go to @OfTheDead Designs on Instagram to message Juan about a design that is not that grotesque image in which Aaron has painted into your mind. You can contact Juan on Facebook at facebook.com/OfTheDeadDesigns or go to his website at ofthedead.weebly.com because Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Designs are bringing artwork to life. And how about...
I'm doing the Rad 150.
What's that?
Yep, the Rad 150. I'm finishing up my bottle.
Oh.
So I'll let you know how that goes, but my strength has increased 6 times.
So he recently started dating a man named Rod 150. That's interesting.
Oh, you're still doing these tired jokes.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about your supplements from TNT-health.com.
Yep, that's what I was talking about.
Okay.
Go ahead, take it over now.
No, what?
Yeah, take over.
Can I?
Big boy.
Pardon? The interruption? Yeah, TNT Health has been supplying us with the things that we need to keep us going on our health and wellness journey. And, of course, I'm a simple man. Okay. What was that? I'm sorry. Was that busted open? Just chiming in on the matter?
Dave LaGreca. Big workout guy.
Is he?
I guess.
Yeah, like he's dedicated, and so are we. And I'm dedicated to taking my creatine from TNT Health, which of course helps me with my gains in the gym. And I take my glutamine for my post-workout, which helps with the soreness, which was great for me on the road this weekend because I was so bored during my time on the road. I had so much downtime that every single day, I was getting it in the gym, and if it wasn't for my glutamine, my muscles would have been tore the F up. But I was using the essentials that I needed from Mike and TNT Health. And, of course, Aaron, you said you're using the Rad 150, and that's been very beneficial for you.
Yeah, I noticed my sleep is better.
Really?
Yeah, so that's one of the unsung heroes.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a variety of things that you can purchase at TNT Health, but you know what? He's not trying to sell you supplements, he being Mike. He's trying to sell you results, and he doesn't want you to be stuck with some sort of fitness bill, health and wellness bill that's like $300 or $400 a month, like someone at a vitamin shop or a GNC might try to sell you on. He just wants you to focus on 1 or 2 things to get you started or to keep you going. And if you find that those things are working for you, then perhaps maybe you can branch out and try some other stuff. They got fat burners, they got muscle building supplements, protein, pre-workout, pro-hormone, all the things you need to keep you going on that fitness journey. So it's free to look. Check it out. TNT-health.com. And if you use our promo code IRONON, you're going to save 10% on anything you buy. And keep in mind, Mike is going to be with you every step of the way. If you need him to help you with recommendations, if you want him to track your macros, because, even though the supplements are going to help you, you can't outtrain a shitty diet. He's going to do all that free of charge for you. And You're not going to get any type of benefits like that from someone at your local GNC or your vitamin shop. So what are you waiting for? Go to tnt-health.com. Use promo code IRONON, IRONON. Save 10% on anything and everything you buy. Because at TNT Health, it's about your health today, not tomorrow. But we're going to talk
glad
about...
we're done with the jokes, too.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm here to talk about fitness.
Well,
fitness dick in your mouth.
Okay. I thought we were trying to grow up here. Which
Yeah, I don't grow up. I shut up. And when I see your face, I want to throw up.
Aaron, I don't want to mention this, but I'm going to be 38 years old this weekend, and
Which weekend?
This upcoming weekend.
You're having another fucking birthday?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And
It's like every year.
I'm getting a little older, a little wiser, and I've matured, and I don't appreciate your lewd and unnecessary jokes.
Well, I apologize.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Last few days,
Older, wiser though.
I would say so.
More handsome,
Maybe.
gayer, more open to new things.
Last few days, I was on the road. I just came back, and I started my journey this past weekend on Thursday. I went all the way out to Kitchener, Ontario, Canada, to support Colin Hunter of Kayfabe News and his new documentary, The Ref Didn't See It. He's been developing this film for, I think, well over a year, maybe close to 2 years, and basically it's a story about Colin branching out and getting involved in the physicality that is pro wrestling, not being behind his desk and writing his incredible articles for Kayfabe News, and really getting into the middle of the action and the importance of the referee's responsibility, and you get to see his journey and a variety of other pro wrestling refs' journey within the wrestling community. And I really enjoyed the experience. The theater, the Apollo Theater in Kitchener, Ontario, was sold out for the event. There was a lot of laughs, and I think everybody really enjoyed the film. There was a little bit of a ruckus after the film was over, and I had to get in a brawl with a couple other wrestlers right there in the movie theater.
What?
Yeah, it was a little unnecessary because a couple of those guys didn't like how they were portrayed in the film, but I seem to think that
you guys did go ahead with that.
Yeah, we did it, and
you guys fought each other in the movie theater? Was there a ref?
Brother, luckily Colin was there, and he had his referee skills on display, and he was able to count the 3 fall 4 myself, of course. And
you won a match?
I did impromptu in the movie theater.
That's how you know wrestling's fake.
Okay. And so I really enjoyed that, and hopefully you will be seeing The Ref Didn't See It in a movie theater near you or a film festival. Perhaps maybe it'll be on a streaming service in the near future, but I know Colin has high hopes for the film, and I think it's going to be a good watch when it gets out there. But so my journey started on Thursday. Friday, I had some downtime, so I was just kind of hanging out in Buffalo because that's where my show was. I was a mystery for the Saturday show at Empire State Wrestling, and so I just took some time to relax. Slept in for a couple days.
Slept in for a couple days?
Well, yeah, Friday and Saturday. I had nothing to do.
You slept for 2 straight days?
Well, I got up, but I actually slept in, which I don't do very often. Because I was thinking, wrestlers in the 80s and 90s, they just sat in their hotel room, did drugs and alcohol, just banged fucking girls, and here I am. I was like, well, I just woke up at 11 a.m. after sleeping for 12 hours. I guess I'll find a gym and go work out. And then I worked out, and then I was like, I guess I'll go to the supplement store and buy some supplements. And so I bought some meals.
Did they have a TNT Health out there?
They didn't, but it was like a meal prep store that I went to, and I bought some nutritious meals. So I was like, boy, I'm getting real wild here. What should I do? So I was like, I thought about it, and I said, I guess I'll go work out again.
Yeah.
And then I did that, and then luckily I'm friends with the Bunny and the Blade, Pepper Parks, Cherry Bomb, Alley, whatever you want to call them. I just call them my friends, and I haven't seen them in a long time. Actually, so last time I saw Allie was about a year ago. Saw her at the ECW arena for an autograph signing, so we got to talk briefly there. But I didn't realize I haven't seen Pepper since 2020, right before the pandemic, when he was kind of my liaison, my guide backstage at AEW. And it was great sitting down and catching up with those guys.
Yeah.
Two of the better people in the professional wrestling industry. And, Jesse and Laura, they're
Now,
special.
who are they?
They're the same people I'm talking about. That's their real names.
Ooh.
Pepper and Cherry and Allie and whatever you want to call them. And they have like so many names. I mean,
So they're when you refer to Jesse and what's
Jesse is the Blade.
yes, and what's the girl's
Laura
name? Laura
would
okay.
be the Bunny
Jesse
or
and Laura.
Allie. And they're in good spirits. Laura has stepped away from wrestling. She's focusing on a podcast right now.
So smart. Well, I don't know then.
yeah. You had me until you said podcast. And I was like, there's better things you could do with your time. But actually, her podcast is going pretty well. It's her and AK. I think I mentioned that on the show not too
Allison
long ago.
K.
Yes, and it's the Chainsaw Girl Pod.
Yeah.
So make sure you follow them on social media. You can
What do
find
they
them.
talk about?
They're just talking about horror films.
Oh, okay. We did talk about this before. That's interesting.
And
I'll have to put that on my list.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a run-in.
No, we don't have her now. I was looking at the Instagram, and actually, she's becoming a big toy collector. So I got to kind of look at her toy collection.
What kind of toys?
A lot of horror-themed film toys, believe it or not. And she had her own action figure, which we had an interesting discussion about that because it is a chase figure. It's one of 3,000, which was originally supposed to be in the line of AEW toys, a regular figure, but it was changed to a chase. It's a whole thing. But, Pepper has his own figure too, which is super cool. And thing that was important to me with Jesse was catching up about how he's feeling post back surgery. So he's been having some back issues for a while, and he just had to have a fusion. And so, if you guys haven't saw the Blade on social media or haven't spent any time like following his career, there's some doubt about what's going to happen going forward. And
there's a guy that would be perfect to be an agent somewhere, right?
And I hope that's a thing that could happen if he can't step back in the ring. Because the thing is,
He's got a creative mind.
Very much so. And me and him are a lot alike in a lot of ways where it's like, he, obviously he made it, right? And there had been concern with himself for a long time where he's like, will I ever get signed, right? I mean, he trained with less stature, so he's been working since like 2000, so like he was back when Heartland was a developmental, and back when he started, he was doing the cheerleader gimmick. And so I remember seeing Pepper in PWI as like Pepper Parks doing the cheerleader gimmick before the Spirit Squad was even a thing, right? So he was really an innovator in that sense.
Cheerleader gimmick.
Yeah.
It just sounds very familiar to me. Like I maybe have been on a show with him in the past.
You probably crossed paths with them because I remember, and the first time sharing lockers with him at PWX in Pittsburgh, and like me and Matt Justice kind of marking out for Pepper Parks from PWI, and Heartland Wrestling. And so
was he ever in TNA?
When he was Braxton Sutter in TNA, yeah. But this is like not too long ago, like 2015.
That's when he was in TNA.
Yeah,
2015.
Okay, he might have did some.
I'm thinking like 2003 or something.
He might have back in the day. I don't remember that.
Okay.
But I don't know. It was nice catching up with him, and like no matter what happens with his wrestling career going forward, the important thing is he's in good spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I just really love those guys. And if you could at all support Pepper Parks, Jesse the Blade in his journey, please do so. Like find him on social media and leave him some comments, drop him a line. He's staying busy and productive, and most importantly, he's a good brother. And that was truly the highlight of my wrestling weekend.
Where'd you guys eat?
We didn't even eat. We just sat at the house and talked like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Once Laura went to bed, me and Jesse watched the end of SmackDown, which we'll talk about on Patreon, and I'll go maybe a little bit more into depth about some of the things we talked about psychology-wise. But we are going to talk about psychology here in a second because So I went to ESW this weekend. It was my return after a few months off from there, and I was a surprise third man for Vince Valor and Channing Decker as they took on the team of Edge of Hope, which you would think those guys would be nicer to me because they're all straight edge guys, and they're always very...
Straight edge guys always feel like they're better than everybody else.
No, well, that's not
That's
not
true.
necessarily
Yeah,
true,
that's
but
true. It's a fact.
They're very disrespectful to me as a character, right? However, I will say Maddock, the leader of the group, I've always enjoyed working with him, spending times up in with upstate New York, Rochester area. But sometimes, and I'm sure you've had these situations working with younger guys, you just want them to be in a better position than where they started, right? You want to help kind of guide them along. And in this tag match, I want to lay out the scenario. And then I want to talk about what went wrong and why it's important to focus on things like positioning and timing. And we can kind of ramble about that. And then I want to answer some psychology questions from social media. So here's the spot, okay? I'm in the ring. I'm taking a little bit of the heat. Obviously, that's when you're getting beat up in the middle of the match. And I have the one guy have me in a rest hold, okay? Mm-hmm. Current kid that's in the ring with me. I fight back a little bit. He chops me down. He calls for his partner, okay? So I'm laying out what's supposed to happen. He calls for his partner. They both come in. They give me a couple shots. They go to whip me off. I hold on. Guy that came in that was illegal, he comes at me. I low bridge. Guy that is legal, he now comes at me. I give him an elbow. Boom. He sells back to the middle of the ring. Very simple. Now I'm going to chop him. And as I'm chopping him, he's slowly selling back towards my corner. So this is my way of fighting back to try to get that hot tag, right? He stops me. Boom. Takes me to the middle. He goes to body slam me. I slip behind. I hit him with a shark boy knee, a one knee code breaker. Boom. I'm down. He's down. He sells off. He fucks off to a, not an opposite corner, but what do I want to say? A neutral corner where there's no wrestlers. The other guy that got shit canned to the floor, he slides back in to grab me right before I'm in within fingertips a reach of tagging my tag team partner. He pulls me to the middle. He comes in. I kick him off, and then I make that tag. Boom. Now we're hot fire, baby. Here's what happened. Guy calls in the illegal man. Both guys hit me a couple times, go to whip me off. I hold on. I low bridge the illegal man. The legal man comes at me. I give him an elbow. Boom. Okay? Now, when I give him the elbow, I can already tell. I could see it in his eyes, and we've talked about this before. The eyes tell the story. He doesn't know what's about to come next. He's forgotten. So, he sells to the neutral corner after the elbow, which means I got a wide open lane to just go and tag my partners, okay?
Yeah.
But I have enough sense to realize that I know what the spot is, and I'm watching where he's going. So I, out of instinct, take the momentum of the elbow, and I sell down to my opponent's corner, okay? Hoping that this kid is going to wander back to the middle to stop my path of getting the tag. No, absolutely not. He begins to wander down the rope as close as he possibly can to my my tag partners.
Yes.
So I'm trying to talk and go, come to the middle, come to the middle. Try to get him to look at me. Come to the middle, come to the middle. To the point where I had to walk right over to him. I could just tag my partners if I want, and I gave him a shot, and then I had to pull him out. I had to grab him around his neck and pull him in the middle of the ring. And then, sad to say, I started becoming HBK 1996. I was hitting him very, very hard and trying to get him back on track, and I have to tell him.
That's the way you get somebody back on track, is knocking them loopy.
Sometimes I'm not knocking him loopy. I'm chopping him, and I'm trying to tell him what to do next. I'm like, stop me, stop me, stop me. Finally, he stops me. Next thing's supposed to be a body slam, but now that we've gone so far off course, I don't even let him body slam me. I just hit him with the shark boy knee because I'm like, let's just get this over with. And kid doesn't even sell out of the way. He just kind of crumples in the middle of the ring. Luckily, it still kind of works. I can crawl over him, but I know that I need him to get out of the way because I need to still be pulled to the middle by the illegal guy that I low bridge, which I feel like in my head now he's been on the floor too long because all he took was a low bridge. But whatever the case, eventually the kid from the floor comes in, pulls me, I kick him off, I get the hot tag, and now both guys are in the ring and start taking the bump and feed from Channing Decker. Now, finish of the match ends up being a double sharpshooter from Vince Valor and Channing Decker, and this kid comes from the other side of the ring, meets me in the middle to take the pile driver from me, boom, and then double tap out, okay? The whole time I'm watching him as I'm sitting on the floor watching the sharpshooter spot, I could just see him on the apron, like leaning on the apron on the floor waiting to come back in, and I'm like, God damn it. And I know the kid felt bad, because I try not to laugh when it happened, but I give him a kick for this pile driver, and I hear him go, "Just fucking kill me." And I'm like, okay, all right, man. Like it's serious, but it's not that serious. And he's pretty light, so I jumped up with the pile driver and just boom. And it was fine. Crowd popped. He got to the back, and I could just tell the kid was like, he felt rejected about it. And I had to have a discussion with him, and I was just like, hey, man, listen. And well, first of all, what would you tell this kid if you were in the same scenario? Like, what advice would you give him going forward? You know what I mean? Because I look at it as just a learning experience. He'd only been working 5 years.
Yeah, slow down. Talk, communicate. You get lost, you go to the guy you're working with.
Yeah. Because
chances are they know the next spot.
Sure.
I don't know, what were you going to say?
Well, I mean, like what I just told him, I was like, don't let this eat you up. I mean, it's easier said than done, but like I said, look.
Especially since you were hitting the guy as hard as you possibly
up.
fucking
I wasn't
could.
trying to knock
You were HBKing him.
I was HBK. Yes, HBK had a have.
You go to that a lot.
Yeah, I do.
You talk about that a lot.
That's
about
the best
yourself.
example.
Yeah.
So here's
so
how.
mad I had to HBK his ass.
And here's how I know that. So Channing Decker, which I love the guy. He says to me, he's like, man, well, I have respect for you, man. Like, he's like, I could see in your eyes, because again, the story's always in the eyes. I'm like, I could tell you're heated, but like, you really worked hard to keep that kid on track. And I was like, well, thank you. So then, I got to see a lot of friends at ESW I haven't seen for a little bit. Danhausen, which was nice catching up with him a little bit, but also near and dear.
Danhausen, the dad.
That's two different people. Danhausen.
That'd be
very
awesome.
Very nice,
though.
very evil. Okay, what? You're combining two people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be great if there was a dad that was Danhausen?
I mean, that's very possible.
Okay.
I mean, Danhausen, I believe in real life, is a dad. So, so he could be Dad Hausen.
And then when his kid loses his teeth, what do you think Danhausen does with them?
He would put him in a jar.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah. Near and dear to both our hearts at this show, unbeknownst to me until I was there, Veda Scott. She was a guest commentator on the show because Speedball Mike Bailey was booked on the show.
Oh. You didn't know this ahead of time?
I had no idea. I did. And I knew
while you were out there, you didn't know while you were working.
I didn't know until I got to the show.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't think like Mike Bailey was going to be here. Veda's going to be here.
Gotcha.
And so it was very nice to see her during intermission. She made sure to walk right up to me and she goes, "Greg,
how's Aaron?"
She didn't say that. Didn't bring you up. No.
Good.
She said
Good. I didn't want to be brought up.
During that one spot, and as soon as she said that, I smiled. She goes, I lost track of what I was saying, and I just said, "Oh, Greg's mad." And I was like, "Oh, wasn't that obvious?" And she's like, "Yeah, but like it was fine, but like I could see it. I could see it in your eyes because again." The eyes tell the story. The eyes tell the story when you're mad. The eyes tell the story when you're sad. The eyes tell the story in a wrestling context. Oh yes, in a wrestling context, when you are lost. And I could tell this kid was lost. And so, talking to him in the back, I basically said, "Listen, I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and I'm gonna remember what I need to do. If I forget, then I fucking suck. I should be able to guide you through this." All I need from you, and I want you to think about this going forward, is just think about what you're going to do. And don't just think about your spot. I need you to start visualizing the spot, where you're going to be, where the other person is going to be when it's happening. And I need you to focus on your positioning and timing, because the worst part about you forgetting wasn't the fact that you forgot. It's the fact that you forgot and then you just moved completely out of the way. So you made me look dumb when I didn't tag my partner, and I could have done that. Now the question is, should I have done that? And I'm going to say no, because now if I tag, now Channing Decker is going to be thrown the fuck off.
Well, everybody's going to be off.
Yes, the kid that's on the floor that's supposed to be taking the bump and feed.
It's not just you two in the match. There's several other entities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now he's going to have to rush in the ring to start taking the bump and feed. Everything is thrown off. So, like, I just need to fix this one spot that's thrown off and get us back on track so that everything else flows right. And I just, like, you have to visualize the spot, because I think if you think about the beats and where you're supposed to be, and what I said to him was, when I say this all the time in seminars, logic out of the illogical. Even if you don't remember the spot, you know that the object of this match and the object of this moment right now is I have to tag these guys. So do not open up the lane so I can just walk and tag these guys, because it fucks everything up. If you don't know anything, just hit me with something, and I'll hit you with something, and we'll get back on track. And
then Emily will be happy.
Something for Emily?
That's right.
So that was that, and I can't hammer home how important it is to be in the right place at the right time. I do not give a shit, and no one else gives a shit, how many moves you do, as long as you're there in the beats that matter. Because at the end of the day, the crowd is not going to remember those moves. They remember moments.
Yes.
I mean, am I right or wrong when I say that? I mean,
nope. They remember moments.
Like what? Give me, like, there are very few moves that I think about when I get excited about pro wrestling. You know what I got excited about, which we'll talk in depth about Hell in a Cell in a second here. I got excited about Drew McIntyre and CM Punk doing the sharpshooter spot that was definitely stolen from WrestleMania 13 with the blood pouring down Drew McIntyre's face. Because, again, it's not the move I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the imagery. You know, like, that's what's getting embedded into my mind. And it's like, I think if guys focused on that more, and, like, we don't think about sometimes entire experiences. We think about specific moments, like moments that impact us. Like, when you think about death, when it's a death that affects your life, you think about not just that death, but where you were when you found out about that death, and what was going through your mind in those moments. Like, so I think it's much more important to focus on creating the moment than the move.
I used to always hashtag life is moments when I would post pictures of, like my kid hitting a home run or, anything like that, because that's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, we're not worried about if somebody put their dirty clothes in the hamper.
Yeah.
We're not worried about if somebody left the dishes undone.
Yeah.
We're thinking about all these, the moments, the ones that are great.
And like, this is a prime example. Like, this weekend, your kid had homecoming, right? Like, I'm sure, like, for me, it's a great feeling to always see you posting these moments with your kids, because it just shows, like, what a present dad you are, and I think that's really, really cool, especially for someone that I know loves wrestling as much as you do. For so long, to be able to realize, I mean, that's why you stepped away from commentary all the time. It's like, you wanted to realize that you wanted to be present for those moments for your kids, because they will remember whether you were there or not.
Yeah, my youngest just said to me, because we were watching Tracy Smothers and Hornswoggle this weekend, because I go, hey, I found this match on YouTube, and you invade commentary. You kind of do a run-in here. Yeah. And so I just want to show you. We're watching. He goes, Dad, I never even realized it back then, but there were like hundreds, if not 1,000 people at this event, and we were seeing Johnny Gargano leave. We were in the ring with him. There was a show with Ronda Rousey. There was the guys from the Cleveland Browns. We were able to see all this, and there was all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
And we didn't appreciate it then, and now we're looking back on it, and I'm like, man, we did a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's true. But more than being a pro wrestling commentator or personality, I always wanted to be a dad, like a Little League baseball coach. I want to make sure I'm there for them.
And just out of curiosity, how many matches did they reference when they were talking about, like, remembering Ronda?
Right. Nobody talked about, like, the spots in the match.
Yeah.
Except we did a lot of laughing during Tracy Smothers and Hornswoggle.
Yeah. Well,
because
again,
that's what it was for, but it was for the moments of that.
Yeah. Tracy's matches have always been moments.
Yeah.
Like those would always be my favorite parts of seeing him live. Was like, I hope he says the same thing that he said last month, because it was so dumb and it makes me laugh when he talks about flying in on a helicopter at the fucking Turner's Hall.
And that's what got a bigger pop than anything, bigger than him doing a Canadian Destroyer.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. If Tracy would have done a Canadian Destroyer, that might have got a real huge pop. But
if he didn't do a Canadian Destroyer with someone, I would be shocked, honestly. Because, I mean, like Ricky Morton's done a ton of them. Buff Bagwell did a Canadian Destroyer with Ethan Page the one time at AIW. So, I mean, again, those moves get remembered because it's so absurd to see them happen. I wanted to touch on it briefly here. But like I said, we'll go in depth on the Patreon episode about Bad Blood and Hell in a Cell. The psychology of the Hell in a Cell match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. I really enjoyed it. I didn't think the blood or the violence was too gratuitous. However, there might be some listeners to the show, and I believe we covered it on Patreon. We might not have covered it on the free version, but there might be some listeners to the show that might say, well, Greg, you weren't really a big fan of the Shane Strickland and Hangman Page match that just happened a month or two ago. I'm sorry, my bad. You weren't a big fan of that match, and you said that it was too violent, too gory. Yeah, I might have said that, but also my argument wasn't against the violence or the gore necessarily. It was that not a lot of it made too much sense, particularly the use of a syringe for really no particular reason. I thought everything as far as psychology in the cell match did make sense. Yeah. It was very logical. Now, again, you might even be able to argue like, well, I mean, they started using a wrench and stuff. That wasn't part of the storyline. Yeah, but like it's a realistic thing you could find under the ring. Like,
you know what? Yeah, I wanted to point that out because I listened to a review of a podcast where somebody was like, well, what's a toolbox doing under the ring?
Yeah, are you fucking stupid?
Maybe
but
it's somebody that's probably never put a ring together before.
That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe you never put a ring together. But, like, everything made sense. Like, again, if you were to find a syringe under the ring, why would it be there? And, or, what purpose, if it hadn't been used before, would you think, you know what, I'm going to really get this guy? You okay there? You dying?
Oh, I think I'm allergic to assholes.
Okay. Well, stop spending so much time with your boyfriend and...
Well, maybe you should leave.
Okay. All right. Well, it's been a great show, guys. I'm going to take off.
Take what off?
What purpose would you think to yourself, you know what, of all the things I could do to this guy, let me grab this syringe before I leave the house so I could just stick it in his cheek if the opportunity presents itself. Like, that doesn't work for me, brother.
That's why I kept saying, like, it just makes me think that, these guys were doing intravenous drugs in a locker room before they came out. Like, that's why there would be a needle there. Yeah. Or one of them has diabetes and was administering insulin to himself.
Yeah, that could very well be the case. I don't know about you, but I didn't think the blood was too much. And my reasoning is we built this whole story in a logical way to where, for the first time in a long time, Hell in a Cell was a necessary payoff. And it reminded me of Hell in a Cells of old. Now, again, if you listen to us cover Strickland and Page, you might think to yourself, well, I mean, they had like a long feud too in history. Also true. But also there was a lot of absurdity involved with the lead up to that. And again, listen, it is one of the more heated rivalries in AEW, but there have been a lot of unnecessary things, I feel, done psychology-wise along the way that doesn't seem to matter. Now, I will say this. I'm going to guess, I would hope the toolbox thing, as far as taking it straight to the dome, was an accident, because I do think that was hard way, because apparently Drew got 16 staples. If it wasn't, that is kind of dumb as taking a chair shot to the head. And it appeared as though he took the toolbox to the head legit multiple times. Again, brutality. And I can't say that.
But it was the toolbox is an empty toolbox. It's hollow. You know what I mean?
But it was still enough to give him 16.
Yeah, I see
staples.
that, but the intent wasn't. Like when you're hitting somebody with a chair, and I hear they sawed the chair or whatever that is.
I don't think that's a thing, but I don't know why they keep saying that.
Yeah, so like that hitting somebody with a straight away headshot, chair shot, is gonna do damage.
Well, and also I
Legitimate.
think, I think it's important to note that I always feel the chair is swung as hard as humanly possible, and it's not the same thing with the toolbox. You know, like it's like you're not gonna swing something like that out of instinct as hard as you physically can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't think the blood was too much, and I felt it added depth to the story because again, they didn't do anything super crazy as far as move wise or anything, but like just I was more invested in this match than I'd been in any other match in WWE. I can't even tell you. And I know we've ranked them before somewhere in the archives. We did our top Hell in a Cell matches. I would say easily this is in the top 10 instantly. And they said something like 53 Hell in a Cell matches.
Yeah, I was going to say something to you about that when I was watching, but then I remembered you were on the road.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't want to text him while he's driving. He's too busy watching his phone.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Well, it's because
53 is wild, man. And that's how oversaturated it got. Because
meaningless.
I remember 8 of them, maybe.
2 or 3 Hell in a Cells a year.
Yeah.
Based on the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view since, I believe, 2011.
Wow.
So when you think about that, 53 does make sense.
Yeah, they prostituted the hell out of it.
Yeah. Like so.
You know what? Somebody had said the New Day was in a Hell in a Cell match.
They were, and it was actually one of the better ones. It was them
Yeah.
versus the Usos.
Yeah,
That was
and
actually
I
a good
completely forgot about that until then. I remember telling you on a podcast a couple years ago that I thought there was a women's match that was the better Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah.
And one of the better ones that I had seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't even remember right now who was in that match. Was it Charlotte and Sasha Banks or something?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. And then I remember the Foley ones.
Yeah.
And HBK and Gayne. I mean, Kane.
Kane.
Wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, I thought this match was done tastefully, and we will talk about in depth the beats of that match and what we really liked and what we may have disliked, if anything, from that match and the whole pay-per-view in general. But I think in this psychology conversation, we're going to take some of your questions real quick, and then we're going to wrap things up. And you can catch the rest of whatever we're talking about tonight over on patreon.com.
And that's going to be a rarity.
Iron and Wrestling. Yeah, because, well, you know, Raw ends early.
Well, no, because I don't like to wrap things up. You could tell by the amount of children's I have.
Okay. Up first, Patreon member Eric.
I was just going to say, I can't wait to hear Eric's smart-ass question.
Why was Jacob Fatu talking to the ref the whole time during Cody's marching band entrance? The announcers were talking about how they are afraid to be around him, and there he is, tapping it up, acting buddies with the ref. So, you know, I actually noticed this myself, that Jacob was having a conversation with the ref. Now, I'll say it did seem a little out of character. I wouldn't say that it looked like he was being chummy with the ref. I just imagine that he was probably relaying signals or clarifying something for the match in, you know, outside of kayfabe here. Because, I mean, that's usually what's happening. Like, sometimes if there's something that maybe I didn't discuss with the ref in the back and he's currently in the ring while the other guy is about to come out, I'm probably like, hey, man, like, I don't know if you know, at this part we're doing this. I would imagine a lot of that is clarified, but maybe something got changed last second. So I did actually notice that. Did you notice that, Aaron?
Yes. I just chalked it up, though, as, like, a lot of times in the story of the match, not that really Jacob Fatu's the best for it, but either him or Solo may have had to say something to the ref. So I would just be in the ring as the heel talking to the ref, because if you're in a match, a lot of times you do talk to the referee.
Yeah.
Just even in real life. Like, even in football games or basketball games, baseball games, something like that, you talk to the official.
Sure.
Sometimes you want to get a point across or you want to ask a question. I don't know. And you know what? Also, he was probably saying, did you catch me in that Johnny Gargano vlog where I was praying, doing my stance?
Yeah, and the answer is no. Which, speaking of Johnny Gargano, not related to psychology at all, asked me, kiss one, kill one, marry one. And my choices are Hulk Hogan, the Rizzler, and Adolf Hitler. Well, this is an easy one. I'm going to kill the Rizzler, and we'll just move on from there.
Whoa.
What?
You got to answer the other two.
Derek Sharp asks, why...
I'll answer for you. You'll marry Hulk Hogan.
Why doesn't a babyface versus babyface match work?
But hold on, only because the Rizzler's 12. Because you want to put a poster
does it
in your gym of the Rizzler working out.
Match work? Derek, I don't think it doesn't work. I think if done correctly, psychologically, then a babyface versus babyface match does work. I think the best way to make it work is someone within the match obviously has to be the aggressor. But you could also structure the match in such a way to where instead of doing your standard match setup of like, going as basic as possible, you start with your wrestling, you go to a babyface shine, you go to the heel cutoff, you maybe do some hope spots in there where a babyface is almost starting what we eventually call the comeback, to where he gets his semi-bigger moves in, leading to some potential falsies. And then, of course, you have a back and forth of false finishes between the heel and the babyface, and then eventually you go home. I think there are some really, really classic examples that we've covered on the show before of babyface versus babyface matches working. Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior, which, of course, only worked because Pat Patterson structured that match, because as we've seen with Halloween Havoc 98, which wasn't baby, but it just didn't work at all. I think notoriously Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock had great matches as both baby faces.
But also, what we should underline here is your love for Pat Patterson.
I have no problem with Pat Patterson. I don't know the man personally. He never did anything to me personally. I don't know.
Okay.
Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper. Bret Hart versus British Bulldog. I think there's a number of honest baby matches with Bret and someone that are usually good matches. I just think like if you structure it right, you can get people emotionally invested. I mean, just the recent Cody versus Kevin Owens match that they did last month on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I think that was a very, very well structured baby match.
I'm not prepared to talk about what happened after the pay-per-view, though.
Very serious situation between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes that we will have to talk about on Patreon. But your thoughts?
Thoughts and prayers.
Your thoughts on baby matches?
Oh, I'm all right with them. Again, like what you said, that they're structured the right way. Bret and Bulldog might be one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Hogan and Warrior was good at the time. But more recently, I would say the Xavier Woods and Jey Uso match.
That was
from Monday Night Raw.
Yes, which we'll cover on the Patreon version. Also, if you want to test this theory, I think the best example you could see right now to compare and contrast and really examine the little differences that make one baby and heel and the other baby and how it works. Check out Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect from SummerSlam 91, which we've talked about, and then watch Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect from King of the Ring 93, where they're both baby faces, and they essentially do the exact same match, but change like the cutoff and the finish. And then you understand, if you pay attention, why they both work in slightly different ways.
Before you move on, I had said the Xavier Woods and Jey Uso match. Yeah. I was kidding about that because it went like 6 minutes or something like that. What I really wanted to say was the tag match that we saw for the number one contendership for the WWE Tag Team Championships between DIY and the Street Profits.
Yeah.
I thought that was excellent.
Very well done.
And not just because Tomasso's a friend of the show, but because everything went perfectly as you would think two teams of babyfaces would have a competitive match.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't have anything else to say?
No. I think that's a very well-made point.
Your face is well made.
Connor McKay says, what body language are you looking out for in a match from your opponent to tell whether or not they're ready for a match or not? I guess what you're trying to ask is like if they're like nervous or like what frame of mind they're in. I don't know. Like again,
I think you already talked about it.
The
eyes.
It's all in the eyes. Again, quickly, I'll tell this story again. When I was learning as a wrestler, I think that you can learn from people, even people that you dislike or say dumb shit. What I learned from Al Snow, who I don't like, and I think he's not a good person, is one time I had to do a promo in front of him at OVW. And I had this whole thing memorized for 60 seconds, and I thought I was going to knock it out of the park. And after I did the promo, he said, yeah, that was okay, I guess, but next time give me something from the heart instead of that memorized bullshit. And I remember walking away and thinking, like, wow, what a piece of shit Al Snow is. And, I was very mad. But then this is like the least irritating thing Al Snow's ever done in front of me, because he was right in that situation, but I had to figure out how he knew that I had memorized that promo. Like, it just seemed impossible. But then, looking back, hindsight being 20/20, and realizing through my experiences, you can tell when someone's lost, and you can tell when someone's thinking about the next move, about the next line in a promo. And looking back at my promo from, I believe, 2010, that was filmed in front of Al Snow, I could see it in my eyes that I had memorized the promo. And so the one thing that I took away from that experience is, how do I hide that? How do I make people think that this is all coming right off the cuff? And that was the answer. You have bullet points, and then you figure out. And I feel like that's no different than wrestling. You can memorize some stuff, but also I think there's some stuff that you have to do off the cuff. You have to be able to call stuff in the ring. You have to be able to adapt on the fly and listen to the audience and give them what they want. Not to take a line from Batista, but,
Can we agree on one thing here?
What's that?
I think Al Snow's gay character would be Al Snowflake.
I don't think that makes you a gay character if you're a snowflake.
No, Al Snowball. Like if you snowball.
That's better.
Okay.
Yes, that's much better. Thank you.
Like if you were to come in a man's mouth, and then the
right.
man comes in your mouth, and then you guys open mouth kiss and exchange.
No chance that I'm going to get remonetized on YouTube now.
No chance.
Jeff Traxler asks, what move in wrestling that is used regularly is the most unbelievable? That is a good question.
The Irish Whip.
Well, yeah, I
also,
guess at its very core, sure.
Yeah. Also, the slingshot. Fuck that move. That's my least favorite move of all time.
The slingshot.
That's not real. Now, Huda Katana, yeah.
I think I could argue that I bet you Bret Hart has done a slingshot in a match.
Oh, he's done a ton of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't feel like it's
so for a guy that's been on record before saying, I never did anything in a match that you couldn't do in a bar fight. Bret, point out how many slingshots you've seen in the local bar.
Hey, point out how many times he's Irish whipped somebody in a match, and then see how many times he would have done it in a bar fight.
Well,
maybe if Shawn Michaels would have done that when he got jumped by 32 naval officers in that bar.
I'm just maybe if there was ropes, elastic ropes in the bar, then perhaps maybe they would come, careening back at you. But right now. Places of business aren't structured in such a way to put ropes near the wall, and if that was the case, then perhaps maybe it would create the more realistic experience that one gets in a professional wrestling match. So,
I've been in bars that have ropes against the walls.
Really?
Yeah.
It's too bad you didn't take those ropes and wrap it around your neck. And you know what? We're just going to end the show. There are some more questions, but what? That's we don't end that abruptly.
Oh.
It's not Patreon.
I end abruptly all the time.
Yeah, that's what...
She's always like, you got to give me some warning before. And I'm like, oops.
She?
Or he.
That's it for this week. If you have any more questions
Or
about
you.
psychology, pro wrestling questions in general, life questions, if you're going through some stuff that you want to talk about mental health-wise, we are here to answer those questions on the show, so make sure you send your questions over on social media at Iron on Wrestling, or you can sign up for Patreon where your questions and comments are prioritized. So patreon.com/Iron on Wrestling. Best way to support the show. $3 to get you in the door. $5 to get you even more with video on top of the audio. $9 you get to pick bonus subjects. If you message them to us, you get involved in live chats with us once a month for at least an hour of our time. We talk about stuff that we'll never talk about on the show. And, you can get packages in the mail from us. You can even podcast in a studio with Aaron and myself. Wow. What fun. And you can be a part of that if you join our incredible community. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on YouTube or wherever you download podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Audible, all those notoriously
Weebly.
fun shit. Weebly does not serve podcasts at this time, but I guess if they did, you could sign up there.
We could be the first.
Make sure you follow me on social media. I'm at Gregory Iron on Twitter, but I don't do a lot there because Twitter sucks. So follow me on Instagram at Gregory_Iron, Facebook.com/The Handicap Hero. You can book me for pro wrestling, motivational speaking, and pro wrestling seminars. And you can get a cameo for me over on Cameo. Just search Gregory Iron. I will shout you out. I will give words of wisdom, a happy birthday, whatever you need over on Cameo. ProWrestlingTees.com/Gregory Iron for my shirts, Aaron shirts, Iron and Wrestling shirts. And I do believe that is all I have to plug, with the exception of you can see me this Friday night at Horror Slam in, I think, suburban Detroit, Michigan, or maybe ghetto Detroit, Michigan. I don't have the exact location in front of me, but just search Horror Slam over on social media, and you will see that I'll be wrestling Josh Abercrombie, who is a real-life piece of garbage that I have to attempt to work with. And that's all I got. Aaron, what would you like to plug?
I'm on the gram at Fair to Aaron. And I'm on True Social.
Jesus Christ.
At It's All Wrestling.
Okay.
And X, formerly known as Twitter, at Fair to Air. I'm on Facebook, Aaron Bauer. I had my shoot on there, but I lost the password. I wrote it down on this piece of paper, and I don't know what happened to it.
You could just click forgot password and then change
I
it.
did, but then my phone is set up. Oh, I got to talk about this real quick. The same thing happened to me at Speedway. Okay, you know how you get the little gimmick Speedway card where you get all these points?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm 4,000 points away from hitting 75,000, which means I get a $100 gift card.
So I was in for my $100 gift card, right?
Oh, okay.
And I lost the little keychain piece. So they go, just put your phone number in.
Yeah.
So I put it in, 2,000 points. Why? Because the card that I had
a different phone number.
Yes.
You idiot.
20 years ago, whatever that phone was.
Jesus.
When I first got it, when I was making towns with Jeff Traxler and Brandon X and Nick Ritters.
Love it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
really dropped the
So
ball.
gone. Nothing I can do to recover it.
Sad.
So, so that's the same thing happened with my Facebook. It was a different phone number 10 years ago or whatever I first got a Facebook. So, anyway, I'll try to figure some things out, and then I'm also on Pornhub at...
No, don't. All right, that's it. We talked about enough pornographic stuff with the gay wrestler name. So, hey, until next week, thanks for stopping by. You can get more of us over on Patreon, and until next week, here's a lovely kiss goodbye.
Completely hetero.
For sure.
Kiss.
Yeah. No homo, is that what kids say? That's not how people kiss.
Meow,
Nope.
kitty want another kiss.
No.
I'm the leprechaun.
Come on, Mike Myers.